Okay, family, I'm going to show you guys how I cook my jambalaya. We're going to cut the fire on to medium. Between a 4 and a 5 on my electric cooktop, okay? So what we're doing is we're basically making the same that's, out of the package, okay? We're just kind of just kicking it up a little bit, okay? We're just kicking it up a little bit. So the first thing that I did was I added the grilled breast that's already done. And I'm going to add some canola oil to begin this to frying, okay? Because we want this to fry. Let's turn this way so you guys can see it. Put it in the frame. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just kind of browning this a little bit. It's already grilled and it's already cooked. So we really don't have to cook it. We're just primarily just browning, just kind of browning and softening up that chicken breast. We're also, these are the little smokies, the Hickory Farms little smokies. So we're going to just add those in here. Okay. Rest of that oil. Okay. Now you guys do see the shrimp, but one thing about shrimp, you want to add shrimp at last, very last, because if you add it beforehand, you're going to cook them too done. So we're going to just add that last. But as of right now, all we're doing is we're somewhat sauteing. We're simply sauteing our chicken breasts and our little smokies. So what we're going to do is, I didn't have any onion, so we're just going to use some minced onion, and we're going to just add some of that in there, just to saute some of that up with it. It's very simple but very tasty. Very tasty. But onion really kicks up the flavor though, guys. So I love onion. So I'm very generous when it comes down to my onion. Okay, so we added the onion. And I want to show you guys the packages that we're using. We are cooking the Louisiana Cajun Jambalaya mix. This is, and everything, pretty much all the seasoning is in the packet. All we're doing is simply adding a little extra stuff with it. Just adding a little twist to it. And then we're going to add some tomato sauce to it. So simply, you just begin by browning your chicken breast. Best thing to do is to buy that, that rotisserie chicken that you can get from the grocery store that's already cooked. That roasted chicken is good for all kinds of stuff. I use that for salads and all kinds of stuff. So, that's just it's simply a good look. So, or you can use that, just kind of mince up your chicken for that and put it in here, or you could just buy the strips like I did that was already pre-cooked in the little package. You don't need that much, because when you start adding all this meat in there, it turns out to be a whole lot. So let me cut this fire up a little bit more just to kind of get this started. Okay. Okay, family. I cut the fire up to kind of kick it up a notch to really get this going. So as you notice, it is simply the grilled chicken, the little smokies, and the minced onion. And we're just kind of sauteing that a little bit to just kind of get that going a little bit. We added a little canola oil onto this so that it won't stick, and so that it won't stick, and it, we don't want it dry. We do want a little substance to our pot liquor, So okay, now what we want to do is we want to start incorporating our season packets. And once again, we're using the Louisiana Cajun Jambalaya mix. Okay. We're cooking 2 packages. Okay. I mean, this is simple, right out of the bag type of side dish. Family, whenever you're cooking dinner for your family, you always want your main course, which is your protein, which is your meat. Whatever meat you're cooking. If you're frying chicken, if you're frying pork chops, if you're making a meatloaf, if you're, in this case, we cook some barbecue, or whatever the case is, that will be considered as your main dish. That will be considered as your protein, your main entree, okay, or whatever the case you want to call it, okay. And then you want your side dishes, and your side dishes, you want to add a starch. That would be like your macaroni and cheese, your smothered cheese potatoes, whatever the get down is, okay, rice-a-roni, mashed potatoes, something to that effect. Then, aside from that, you want to make your vegetables. So either you want to have corn on the cob, you want to have some greens, some fried cabbage, some creamed corn, or you want some, my mom used to always make some creamed peas. Really, really tasty. The kids dig it. Some creamed peas, or you want to add some, what's another little side dish? String beans and potatoes, whatever. But you also want vegetable, preferably a green vegetable, okay? Because your yellow stuff like corn, that's really considered as a starch, believe it or not. Though it is a vegetable, but corn is kind of on the fence. You know what I'm saying? So you want to give your food some color. So the best thing to do is go with some form of green. So you're going to have your main dish, which is whatever meat you're cooking. And then this will be considered as a side dish, which is our starch. And then after that, then we want to have a vegetable to go with it. And that's him, Slim. Do a side of biscuits if you want some biscuits, and that's on deck, or, you know, so do it like that. Okay, so with the 2 packages, we're going to add 4.5 cups of water. But instead, in my Pyrex, I'm simply adding 4 cups of water, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm adding 4 cups of water because I'm also adding, this is not part of the recipe, but I simply adore it and dig it. Inside of my jambalaya is I add a small can, the little tiny cans of tomato sauce. And you want to add that in there too. Where's my rubber spatula? Because you guys know I like to get everything. I like to get it all out. Let me see if where's me a rubber spatula. I don't like to leave much of nothing left when I'm cooking. You know how like when you're watching the cooking shows and stuff, they leave food left in the dishes and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why they do that. But not in my kitchen. I want to make sure I get all my money worth. I'm getting it all out. Where ain't nothing left. You know what I'm saying? You want it empty. Boom, nothing left. Okay. So, now we added some tomato sauce. Now the only thing that we have left, again, is the shrimp. But like I said before, when you're cooking and you're putting shrimp inside of something, you want to add that all the way last. Last. Whereas I'm going to let this do what this do. And I'm going to put the lid on it and cook this down with the lid in the same consistency of flame. You see all the little seasonings and stuff in there? All kind of little Cajun seasonings and stuff. And so I'm going to let this cook down at this rate of heat for about 5 minutes. Then I'm going to cut the heat off. Okay, then I'm gonna cut it off. So yeah, let's put this on. Okay, we're gonna let that do its thing for about maybe 5 to 6 minutes on that same consistency, same heat. Then we're gonna cut the fire completely off, and then we're just gonna let it simmer. Okay, simmer is you cut off the fire and you just letting it marinate in its juices and all that good stuff. So we're gonna cut this fire off Well, let's give it a few minutes because it hasn't been 5 minutes left. So we're going to let this do its thing for about 5 minutes. Then we're going to cut the fire off. And then we're going to add this. When you start looking at your rice and it begins to change color and it begins to go clear. And then it goes clear and then it begins to turn white. That's when you know that your rice is beginning to get done now. So that's when this begins to thicken up. And that's when I'm going to add this. But you don't add this until last. Reason being is because though I'm cooking with fairly small shrimp, but these will be considered as little salad-based shrimp if I put them in there now. And one way you know that shrimp has been cooked or has been exposed to heat is because it begins to turn pink. You see how that's beginning to turn pink? Because it's been exposed to heat. And over here on this cooktop it's hot. So my shrimp is beginning to turn pink. You don't really want it to do that. That's not a good look, you know, because now it's beginning to cook and all that other kind of stuff. It's, you know, getting exposed to the elements, and we don't want to do that. So, and then another thing about shrimp too, if you cook shrimp too long, it becomes tough. And you don't want to do that either. So when it comes down to shrimp, you have to you know, be mindful of some things. You don't want to cook it too long. You don't want to cook it too not done enough. You just kind of straddle the fence when it comes down to cooking your prongs. Or prongs will be the bigger shrimp. But the little ones like this is just shrimp. Okay, family. Let's let this do what it's going to do for a few minutes. And then we're going to come back on in a few minutes and add the shrimp. Okay, family. Here we go. Okay, now. This is what your rice is supposed to look like. This means it is 3/4 of the way done. When it begins to thicken up like this, it's done. It's 3/4 of the way done. So what we want to do is now we want to add our shrimp into the dish. Okay. I kind of rinsed them off a little bit just to cool them down. Because shrimp, it doesn't take long for those guys to cook, and just a little bit of heat will really get those guys going. Okay, so we're just gonna fold them up into the dish. Just kind of fold them up in there a little bit. Again, the fire is off. I cut the fire off, so there's no more heat. It's just whatever heat that's left on them, you know, that's in the dish already. Then what we want to do is you want to take your washcloth, or even your washcloth, or preferably you know, just make sure the rag is clean, and you kind of want to, you know, hit that rim, you know, hit the rim, you know, just kind of clean it up a little bit, because presentation is everything. Even though this is just for my kids and for Tony, still I like my presentation to look really, really nice and polished. Okay, so you just kind of want to, not where you're touching in your food. You don't want to touch the food at all. You just want to hit that rim a little bit. So now that we hit the rim, bam, we're gonna go back with the top, and this dish is done. About maybe 3 or 4 minutes, it's on deck. It's finished. All right, family, love you guys. You guys take care. Bye bye.